You know, you probably consider yourself a pretty adventurous eater.
Oh, sure. Most people do.
Yeah. I mean, you like trying new things. You explore different restaurants. Maybe you're even like scrolling through all those mouth-watering food blogs on Instagram.
Right. Saving all those videos you're definitely going to make someday.
Exactly. But
Right.
statistically,
Oh.
you only actually know how to cook 8 to 12 meals.
Wow. Yeah.
And tonight, you are probably going to make one of them again.
It is a slightly painful reality check, isn't it?
It really is.
We all have that default rotation. You know, you've got the Tuesday taco night, the reliable chicken stir fry.
The spaghetti bolognese.
Yes, spaghetti bolognese. We just lean on them because they're safe. We can basically make them on autopilot while listening to a podcast or something.
Well, welcome to this deep dive. Today, we are exploring a really fascinating antidote to this modern crisis. And it really is a crisis that hits us every single day.
Oh, absolutely. The intersection of information overload and, decision fatigue in the kitchen.
Right. So we're pulling from this really interesting essay today. It's titled The Curation of Flavor, Mastering the Daily Dish.
Which breaks down the entire philosophy behind the platform called PicksByRecipe.com.
Yeah. And our mission today is to sort of unpack how a radical embrace of constraint, which sounds scary, can actually take you from that 8-meal rut and turn you into a master of global flavors.
I love this source material because the premise is completely counterintuitive to how we typically think about the internet,
How so?
Well, we've been conditioned to believe that having unlimited options is like the ultimate empowerment.
Right, like more is always better.
Exactly. We assume that if we aren't cooking these incredibly diverse, complex meals every single night, it's somehow a personal failure.
Yeah, like we just aren't creative enough or we aren't trying hard enough,
Right. But the essay makes this really crucial point. It's not for a lack of ambition on your part.
People genuinely want to cook better food.
They really do. The actual problem is that the digital tools we use for recipe discovery are just, they're fundamentally broken.
Yeah, the essay says they're not optimized for cooking. They are optimized for clicks.
Exactly. Just think about the ecosystem we're operating in right now. The internet is constantly surfacing seasonal SEO bait.
Oh, the listicles.
Yes, you get these brand-sponsored listicles like 25 ways to use our specific brand of canned tomatoes.
Or the algorithms are just prioritizing whatever highly visual, trendy food content is currently going viral.
Right. Regardless of whether it actually tastes good or if it's even, practical for a home cook to make on a random Wednesday night after work.
The essay brilliantly refers to this whole dynamic as infinite scroll, zero growth.
Oh, that's such a good phrase.
Isn't it? And it taps into something really deep in our neuroscience. If we look at the psychology of choice, having millions of recipes at our fingertips doesn't actually empower us at all.
No, it paralyzes us.
Right. I always liken it to streaming services.
Oh, like picking a movie.
Exactly. You spend, 45 minutes scrolling through endless thumbnails on Netflix?
Just reading descriptions?
Yeah, and you get so overwhelmed by all the choices that you ultimately just order takeout, or you watch the same sitcom you've seen 10 times already.
That is the absolute definition of decision fatigue.
Yeah.
Because when you go online and type, say, chicken recipe into a search bar, you're instantly presented with 40,000 variations.
Right. Which sounds great until you actually have to pick one.
Exactly. Your brain's prefrontal cortex has to expend these massive amounts of cognitive fuel just trying to figure out the criteria for filtering that noise.
Like, do I want it baked? Fried?
Healthy. Fast. Is this blogger actually reliable? By the time you've evaluated even a fraction of those options, you've completely depleted the mental energy you needed to, actually stand up and chop an onion.
Right. So the default response to that cognitive overload is just to surrender.
You order takeout.
Or you retreat right back to the safety of that chicken stir-fry you've made 50 times. The internet gives us the what in these staggering, paralyzing quantities, but it completely strips away the why.
Yeah, and without that why, there is literally no context to help you evaluate which of those 40,000 chicken recipes actually makes sense for your skill level, or your pantry, or your palate.
So if the disease is this infinite choice causing cognitive paralysis, the cure presented by PicksByRecipe.com is it's incredibly logical, but it's really shocking for a modern digital product.
It really is. It's a drastic reduction of choice.
They call it curated constraint.
Right. Instead of a search bar and endless thumbnails, their model offers one recipe, one day, with a genuine editorial voice.
It's a total inversion of the standard internet business model.
Yeah, they're betting that what people actually crave isn't more options, but trusted curation. They provide exactly one high-signal pick daily.
Let's actually define high signal for a second, because that's an engineering concept that applies perfectly here. If the internet is like 99% static and noise, the ads, the SEO fluff, the endless variations, a high signal pick is a pure, clear transmission cutting straight through all of that.
Exactly. It's a vetted, singular direction. You cook it, you learn from it, and you come back tomorrow.
The constraint is the feature, not a bug.
Right. But, and I'm sure you felt this too, it naturally brings up a lot of friction for people when they first hear it.
Oh, absolutely. I'll play devil's advocate here, because I'm
Mhm.
sure you listening are wondering the exact same thing. Isn't just one recipe a day a little dangerously restrictive?
That's the immediate reaction, yeah.
Like, what if Tuesday is eggplant day, and I absolutely despise eggplant? It feels almost like replacing the anxiety of the infinite scroll with, I don't know, a culinary dictatorship.
Right.
How does looking at one isolated dish a day actually foster any real growth?
Well, according to the source material, it really comes down to the mechanics of how the human brain acquires complex skills.
Okay, lay it on me.
The essay dives into this, pointing out that learning something as tactile and nuanced as cooking doesn't happen by just browsing an encyclopedia.
Right.
It happens through what researchers call low-frequency, high-exposure repetition with genuine context.
Okay, I can decode that a bit for us.
Please do.
Instead of trying to master, say, 3 elaborate new recipes every single day, which honestly just leads to burnout, you attempt just one unfamiliar recipe a week.
Exactly.
You engage deeply with it. You
Yeah.
pay actual attention to the mechanics of it. And by doing that, you can acquire roughly 50 new techniques in a year.
Which is huge. Consider the mechanism behind why that actually works. When you're only given one carefully selected dish to focus on, your working memory isn't taxed.
Right. You're not exhausted from deciding.
Yeah, you aren't silently wondering if you should have chosen one of the other 39,000 chicken recipes. You are fully present with the pan in front of you.
Which is rare these days.
Very rare. And that singular focus allows the neural pathways associated with that technique to actually form and solidify.
And what about the eggplant haters?
Well, if you hate eggplant, you just skip Tuesday.
Makes sense.
But maybe you still read the technique associated with it and you just apply it to zucchini on Wednesday. The focus is what drives the growth.
And I think that brings us to where the magic of this platform really lies. It's not just about drawing one random recipe out of a hat every morning, is it?
Not at all.
The constraint only works because of the rich, educational context provided with that single daily option. The source material refers to this as the daily note.
Yes, and the essay makes a really strong point of clarifying that the daily note is explicitly not a listicle.
Right, or a quick SEO blurb about somebody's grandmother's summer vacation.
Exactly. It's a short, highly intentional essay that accompanies the pick. In fact, the source argues that the recipe itself is almost secondary.
Wait, really?
Yeah, the daily note is actually the core product.
That is so interesting, because it provides the framework by answering 4 really crucial things.
What are they?
First, it tells you why this specific dish matters for this specific moment in time.
Okay.
Second, it highlights the exact culinary technique you'll be practicing. Third, it explains how the dish fits into a broader weekly meal plan. And fourth, it suggests what to serve alongside it.
Which represents a pretty profound shift in perspective. I mean, anyone can Google a list of ingredients and oven temperatures.
Yeah.
But the daily note is doing something much more sophisticated. It's building what the author calls palate memory.
I really love that term, palate memory.
Great.
The essay describes it as this intuitive understanding of the mechanics of flavor, like why acidic balance actually matters.
Or how fat ratios work.
Exactly, or how temperature transforms a piece of protein. You are moving from just blindly reading a script to actually speaking the language fluently.
Yes.
Let's make this concrete for the listener. Imagine reading a daily note for, say, a Moroccan tagine.
Okay, I'm hungry already.
Right. And the note says something like, notice how the preserved lemon isn't just there for citrus flavor. The slow-rendered fat from the chicken thighs heavily coats your palate, which dulls the spices.
Oh, interesting.
But the sharp fermented acid of that lemon slices right through that lipid layer, resetting your tongue so the next bite tastes just as vibrant as the first.
See, when you read that and then you taste it happening in real time in your own mouth, you suddenly understand acidic balance on a mechanical level.
Yeah, you aren't just adding the lemon because, step 7 told you to.
Right. You're adding it because you understand its chemical purpose in the overall dish.
It's literally the difference between blindly following a GPS and actually learning to read a map.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Because if you just follow turn-by-turn directions, turn right in 500 feet, simmer for 20 minutes, you will eventually reach your destination.
Sure, you'll get dinner.
But if the GPS breaks, you are hopelessly lost. You don't know where you are or how the train connects at all.
You're right back in the rut.
But if someone actually teaches you to read the map, to identify the landmarks, to understand north and south, you can navigate anywhere.
Yeah.
Most recipe sites are just a GPS. PicksByRecipe is actually teaching you to read the culinary map.
But, learning the why behind a splash of acid only takes you so far if your map only covers your immediate neighborhood.
Oh, that's a good point.
If you really want to read the global culinary map, you need exposure to totally different terrains.
Which is why the platform's curation leans so heavily on the global meal DB. We are talking about an incredible diversity of recipes here.
Spanning, over 30 geographic areas?
Yeah, the source mentions Afghan, Greek, Japanese, Jamaican, Mexican, Indian, Egyptian, Vietnamese, and Moroccan cuisines, just to name a few.
And the essay is very deliberate in stating that this diversity is not just tokenism.
Right. It isn't just about trying to look culturally trendy for Instagram.
No, it is a strategic pedagogical tool because different cuisines teach fundamentally different flavor architectures.
Okay, unpack that a bit.
Well, if you only ever cook within one culinary tradition, say American comfort food, you really only have one set of tools for solving the problem of how to make something taste good.
Right. The essay actually provides a brilliant contrast here to illustrate that.
No, the steak versus the larb.
Yes. It looks at the heavy, sustained heat required to trigger the Maillard reaction on a classic French steak versus the explosive, volatile compounds you get from a late-stage herb finish in a Thai larb.
Those are two entirely distinct mechanisms for building depth.
Totally different.
The French approach builds deep, complex, savory notes very slowly, right? Through heat and protein transformation.
And lots of butter.
And lots of butter, yes. But the Thai approach often builds depth through contrast.
Right.
It hits the palate with massive, fresh, bright bursts of mint, cilantro, and lime juice right at the very end of the cooking process.
So a home cook who has been guided through both of those techniques, who actually has the heavy, savory depth of French cooking and the bright, acidic pop of Thai cooking ingrained in their palate memory, is just operating on a completely different level.
Absolutely. They've totally expanded their toolkit.
And the curation intentionally rotates these cuisines so no single tradition is ever overrepresented, which constantly challenges the cook with new flavor architectures.
Yeah, and they also apply a highly functional seasonal logic to this rotation, which I thought was really smart.
Oh, right. The essay notes that the curation in May naturally leans toward lighter preparations.
Like spring vegetables, delicate seafood, bright potato salads.
But then in January, it shifts back toward deeper, slower cooking methods like braises and hearty grains.
Which connects the cook right back to their actual environment.
Right.
Because cooking doesn't happen in a vacuum.
No, definitely not. A heavy, slow-cooked braise in the middle of July just feels oppressive. But in January, it's exactly what the body and the kitchen actually crave. The platform takes that entire cognitive load, evaluating the season, the technique, the cuisine, completely off the user's plate.
But there is an obvious trap here when we start talking about global cooking on a daily basis.
Oh, I know exactly what you're referring to, and it is the massive question I've been holding on to this whole time.
Go for it.
If I am jumping from Egyptian cuisine on Tuesday to Jamaican on Thursday and then Vietnamese on Friday,
Yeah.
how does this platform ensure I don't go completely broke or just lose my mind?
Right.
Doesn't jumping across the globe like that require an incredibly intimidating, highly specialized kitchen? I can already picture my pantry just bursting with obscure spices that I buy for $30 and use exactly one time.
Right. That is the exact point of failure for almost every ambitious home cooking endeavor.
It really is.
And it is exactly why PicksByRecipe utilizes a ruthless editorial filter before a recipe ever reaches the user.
Okay, how does that work?
Well, the primary criteria for their curation isn't just novelty for the sake of novelty. The core filter is always accessibility.
The essay highlights the specific question the editors ask, which is, Can a home cook with a standard pantry and 45 minutes actually make this?
Exactly. The curation team actively filters out the recipes that require hunting down rare ingredients at some specialty grocer across town.
Thank goodness.
They comb through those 30-plus geographic areas to find the dishes that teach a profound flavor technique but can still be executed using accessible ingredients.
So they are essentially taking the vast, intimidating world of global cuisine and distilling it through a funnel of pure practicality.
Exactly. Standard pantry, 45 minutes, transferable technique.
By limiting the recipes to what is truly accessible, they completely remove the barriers to entry.
You already have the 45 minutes, you have the basic spices.
And through the daily note, you now have the why.
Right. All that is left is the execution and the learning.
Synthesizing this entire journey, it really is a remarkable shift in perspective.
It is.
I mean, we started with a very real, very exhausting, modern problem. The paralyzing overwhelm of the infinite scroll.
Yes, sitting in that 8 to 12 meal rut.
Standing in front of the fridge at 6 o'clock, feeling like you have a million options on your phone, but absolutely nothing you want to cook.
The pure exhaustion of having endless what without any why.
But we've seen how a strategic, highly curated daily constraint, just one single high-signal recipe a day, flips that entire dynamic on its head.
Because when you combine that constraint with genuine context.
The daily note teaching you the mechanics of palate memory.
Right. And you apply it to a diverse global rotation of accessible meals, the result is profound.
You stop fighting the infinite scroll.
You stop wondering what's for dinner.
You quietly transform yourself into a master home cook, one 45-minute lesson at a time.
And if we step back from the kitchen for just a moment, this entire philosophy raises a really provocative question about the rest of our lives.
Oh, like a what?
Well, we've seen how curated constraint and a relentless focus on the why are the secret to mastering something as vast and overwhelming as global cuisine.
Right.
So what other areas of your life are currently suffering from that exact same infinite scroll decision fatigue?
Oh, wow. That's a great point.
Think about your reading habits, With endless tabs of articles and lists of books you feel you should read.
Or your workouts.
Yeah.
Constantly searching YouTube for the perfect fitness routine and never actually working out.
Or just the media you endlessly consume every single day.
Yeah.
How much faster could you grow and how much more peace would you have if you applied a one high-signal pick per day philosophy to those areas of your life as well?
Wow. Something to genuinely think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.